It was 11:38 a.m. in Cape Canaveral. The engines roared, the shuttle trembled under the icy Florida morning. On the launch pad, the frost clung to the metal. The countdown was nearly complete. Inside the cockpit, the crew gripped their seats, faces calm but tense. Outside, engineers watched monitors, pencils hovering over charts. Then a sound came from the booster, and a small whistle, a hiss, almost nothing, almost no one noticed. And yet it was enough to start the chain, to mark the moment before everything fell apart. In the control room, someone squinted at a screen. It flickered, the shuttle climbed higher, faster, smoke trailed like a tail. And then, in less than a minute and a half, the world changed. Something was wrong. The engines burned with ice in their joints. A seal, small and rubber, not meant for the cold, was struggling. The warnings were there, muted on charts and in emails. Engineers had written notes, sent memos, called meetings, yet the launch had gone on. The frost on the boosters, the low temperature, the unusual readings, these were all signals, but no one stopped it. One wrong move, that's all it took. Not hate, not madness. Just a small human decision under pressure. The morning had begun like any other. The team had arrived before sunrise, coffee cups in hand, jackets zipped tight against the chill. The shuttle looked perfect. Engineers ran through their checklists, systems nominal, weather reports came in. Cold, yes, but within acceptable limits. The public was waiting. News cameras lined the runway, kids pressed against TV screens at home. Everyone wanted it to go right. The crew joked quietly, adjusted straps, checked switches. Nobody mentioned the cold, not allowed, not enough to halt the launch. One warning had come, but it felt distant, easy to ignore. Routine and schedule carried more weight than caution. The human mind prefers calm. Then came the first wrong move, the decision to launch. Engineers had raised concerns. Temperature had dropped below the tested limits. For the O-rings, those small rubber seals, critical for keeping the boosters sealed, could fail. Some argued, some wrote notes, but schedules mattered more. Managers weighed the risk against the public expectations and the timeline. One person could have stopped it, a call, a refusal, a delay. Instead, the ignition sequence continued. The engines fired, steam hissed, the shuttle lifted off the pad. And in that moment, stopping felt harder than continuing. Every hand that touched a button, every voice that confirmed all systems go, contributed to the chain. One wrong move. As the shuttle rose, pressure built. Inside, the crew could feel vibrations. Outside, engineers noticed the ice clinging to the boosters. Alarms were subtle at first, then louder. But the countdown had been followed. The public cameras rolled. A small defect in one joint might seem minor, until the stress multiplied. The cold caused contraction. The seal shrank. Tiny gaps formed. Readings fluctuated. Warnings came in bursts. Some were noted. Some were dismissed as anomalies. Momentum carried the shuttle higher, faster. Decisions that seemed minor, paperwork delays, ignored signals, all pushed toward failure. Every step forward made turning back impossible. One wrong move, and then the point of no return. A second O-ring, frozen and brittle, failed. Fuel began to leak. Pressure built in the booster. The shuttle was airborne, climbing into the sky, but the damage was already done. There was no turning back. The moment lasted barely seconds, but it was decisive. Short, sharp sentences could describe it. Leak, pressure, expansion, rupture. Nothing else could fix it. Pause, breath. The recovery was gone. One wrong move. The damage unfolded in an instant. A fireball erupted at the joint. Black smoke mixed with white vapor. The shuttle twisted. Engineers watched, mouths open, hands frozen over keyboards. The crew inside experienced the sudden, unyielding force, their training colliding with reality. The noise was deafening, yet the shock was silent. Monitors went haywire. Visual feeds flickered. Outside, the sky was calm. The days seemed normal. But inside those moments, everything was chaotic. Flames consumed the booster. Smoke trailed behind. Tiny fragments of metal broke away. The chain of decisions, the ignored warnings, the cold, the O-rings, all came together in an instant of destruction. One wrong move, and then the human cost, not abstract, not distant. The crew, 5 men and 2 women, Experienced it all in seconds, faces calm, hands steady, their last actions unseen by anyone outside. Families waited at home, engineers turned away, unable to watch, teachers held children who had seen the launch on TV. Silence followed the roar. The world paused. The human mind struggles to grasp moments like these. The cold, the scheduled, the small, overlooked risk. These were human. The fear was quiet, the grief immense, one wrong move. Time passed, measured in minutes and hours. Investigations, reports, inquiries, but they cannot change the instant when a choice was made. When a small human decision under pressure led to catastrophe, the Shuttle Challenger was gone. The engines, the boosters, the frost, all reminders that disasters are rarely monstrous. They are human, fragile, calculated, overlooked. That morning was not evil. It was not madness. It was a human sequence of choices, each small, reasonable, and yet fatal together.